Hey team, today we're going to talk about leadership with Lieutenant Colonel Promotable Fred Maddox, my West Point classmate from 1996, a guy that we've grown up together, and it's great to come to the Army War College and see your classmates and being successful commanding battalions. So Fred, I'm proud of everything you've done, and it's fun to be on this journey together. Colonel Maddox is a logistics officer. He commanded the 47th Brigade Support Battalion at Fort Bliss. He's got 4 deployments. You kept it even, 2 to Iraq, 2 to Afghanistan. A lot of time overseas leading soldiers. And Fred is married to his wife Katina. They've got 3 great kids. I see them running around here at the Army War College. They're an active bunch, but he's got a great family. So Fred, if you could get in a time machine, I'll go with you. We'll go back mid-90s at West Point, and you could talk to Cadet Fred Maddox.
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give?
Yeah, cut your hair now. Cut your hair now. No. Best thing to do is I would tell them definitely, hey man, continue to invest your time in improving your nutrition, improving your sleep habits, and also developing your reading. Because bar none. Over the last few years or so, we've seen the studies. Nutrition and your sleeping definitely improve your cognitive ability. And of course, with the reading piece, you cannot go back in time, except for this, in this instance, and get knowledge that you didn't pick up along the way. So, if one thing I could do, I would definitely go back, pick up those professional books. I mean, when I first started off, I would read, especially after I graduated, I'd read different things, and I had a nice array of things I read. But as more time, more pressure came on, I lost the interest of doing it. I kind of started to just cut back, and I think that kind of hurt me a little, especially in my ability just to pull from different pieces. And since then, have expanded my ability to do that as well. But you definitely need to keep your ability to keep that reading habit, sleeping, and nutrition.
Those are great, and that is the exact opposite of what we did when we were in school. I mean, we weren't eating right, we probably weren't working out, and then definitely that idea of learning. I was just trying to survive to the next day. I was trying to get through academics, so being able to read and really learn as a professional, starting as a cadet, that's a great tip.
Yeah.
But so you were a battalion commander. You commanded a logistics battalion. What did you look for in your lieutenants when you were a battalion commander specifically?
It's a great question, and really it only boiled down to 2 things. I mean, everything else you can kind of work through and you can develop, but really for me it was does the person have passion and do you have character? And those are really just sort of 2 pieces. Is there some type of fire in you that's going to get you excited to get up in the morning, whether it's for the job itself, whether it's doing logistics? Is it the military in general? Is it your soldiers? Is it just being the type of person who likes taking care of others, helping out, service to the nation? What is it that gets you excited and that kind of fire that drives you? If you have passion, we can work with you. We can get you to do anything. The second piece though is character, and that's like the non-negotiable, because you have to be trusted, and you're trusted, and the responsibility that you're given is for America's greatest treasure, the sons and daughters. So if we can't trust you, if we can't trust the fact that you're going to take care of them, you can follow through, and what your word is your bond, then it makes it really hard for us to be able to give you the hard missions up front, and then for you to take accountability, and I'll kind of talk about that a little later maybe, but the accountability for when you make mistakes.
And it's funny how many lieutenants do make bad decisions.
Yeah,
you'd be surprised about the character piece, and then the passion too. I remember talking to my lieutenants, and some of them was like, no, nobody's home. Like, right. Hello, are you fired up to be here? Like you said, you're leading America's finest. So those are 2 great tips. So Fred, you've worked with a lot of great leaders. What are just some of the big lessons learned you've taken from all the leaders you've worked with in your time in the Army?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an awesome opportunity to have some of the, as we talked about, the finest leaders just being there in their presence. And the 3 things I think that have really imparted upon me was, 1, having the autonomy to do my job. People talk about being micromanaged, and there's a difference between being given guidance and being very specific to make sure the boundaries are there, and being given the opportunity to actually just make decisions. The second piece is not only just having that autonomy to do a job, but also getting the support, being resourced when they're giving you the responsibility. Hey, here's the support you need, the resources you need to do the job, and also to be successful in it. And really what it boils down is just trust, and having being a trusted official to handle requirements of the organization, so that when people see you, they can say, hey, we trust X, Y, or Z person to do the job. And that, I mean, that's what made those leaders stick out in my mind when they did that for me.
Yeah, those are great. And it's, when we have bosses that do that, it frees us up to be creative and to lead our organizations the way we want to. So Fred, you look at, you know, if I went back to your lieutenants from the 47th and I said, what does Colonel Maddox always say, you know, what's his number one thing he's always talking about? You know, what would you say that was?
Well, they're definitely going to talk about passion. They'll definitely talk about passion first and foremost. But I think what underlines that approach that I had to the approach that I had to leadership and that passion is also the mind frame, the mentality you have to have in order to deal with things. Because you know, no day is going to be perfect. No day is going to always come with you and say, "Hey, this is going to be sunshine." And it's how you approach chaos. It's how you approach the hard times that matter. And I think for the number one leadership piece I could give you is that your framework, your mentality of how you handle chaos, not allowing it to handle you, but you handling it, taking in stride that, hey, I can learn from the situation regardless of how bad the situation is, and then looking forward to seeing how you're going to come through it. Because there's a part of accountability that you have to own the situation, your piece to it, and understand that there are parts that you had a hand in, and then look next to it and say, I got to walk through this situation. I'll be a better person on the other side, and then determine and decide to do that. It's your choice.
Leadership during hard times. It's easy to be a leader during the easy times.
Exactly.
The true leaders come out during the hard times. That's a great tip and a great vision of what real leadership is. And then, you know, one thing I like to do is look at each of the different branches, because basic leadership is the same.
Yep.
But there are different characteristics that we want in our different branches in the Army. Mm-hmm. So when you look at your logistics officers, what did you want them to do or be to set them apart and make them different as logistics officers? So
logisticians, I feel that a logistician, we used to hear the terms of leaf eaters and there's carnivores, you know, talking about combat arms versus combat support. I just consider myself an omnivore, and really to kind of break that terminology down, it's really, you have to be multilingual, because you have your responsibilities as a logistician to provide capabilities and capacity to the unit you're supporting, but you also have to be able to communicate what you're doing and how you support. And I think this is clearly any other branch or even, you know, to the civilian sector. But you have to be able to effectively communicate what you're bringing and how you can assist and help. And by doing that, you have to also do it in a way that is demonstrating your competence. And you have to have the technical and tactical competence necessary that when you look at a map board, you're looking at someone's con operation, con plan, or just a sketch, and they're using operational graphics and symbols, you know what they mean. It's not enough to just know the log stuff. You have to know the infantry, the armor, you have to know the chemical. You have to know what those things mean, because you go through all the courses and they're taught to you for a reason, so that when you see their plan, you know exactly how to build your plan to support them properly. And lastly, just make sure you understand the means that you provide your support to your supported unit matters. So, you know, you don't show up with the water buffalo when you're supporting a squad of infantry who are on foot. You know, you have to think through the process and get them what they need in the way they need it, so that it helps them and supports the commander's intent.
All right, all you loggies, you heard it here. You got to be omnivores. You got to be able to speak to infantry. You got to be able to do the logistics. That's a great takeaway, Fred, and appreciate you know, your service. It's been great, you know, going through this journey together as classmates, and appreciate your leadership to our like you said, to America's finest. And thanks for being Lopez on leadership.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right, buddy.